Yo, just coming to the close of a very busy day. All over the place. Crazy busy day. Excited just to wind down. um, so, a few things I want to go over here just real quick. Um, Project start and follow through. So, we're coming to a close on this project, and basically, it's a big one. It started when we were getting into how did you hear about us and sort of like trying to look through some of the analytics that we had at the front desk. And we discovered that we used to get a lot of business through veterinarian referrals and things like that. So we talked about it in one of our meetings in the side room and decided that we were going to open it back up with some kind of like platinum card or something like that. And so coming to a close, we've come to this incentive, which is blowing up. Just to make sure that things are in proportion. I know that we both see this as a great opportunity when really now that we've come to a close and I've worked through all of this, I've added the new guys, I'm getting ready to count up everything and all of that. It's looking much more it's looking less like a great opportunity and more of a tremendous opportunity. So I kind of want to emphasize follow through. Just because we're right at the end, we're right at the close, in less than 2 weeks this thing will be totally done, and it can be a channel for just a recurring channel. I mean, I know you see it from the bird's eye, but I just wanted to sort of paraphrase from the details position that this could be massive just because of our business model has heavy emotional triggers. So everybody who's working in the animal niche is very tied in with their emotions. And so when they hear free Lux boarding and the amenities, they're going nuts. That's what I'm seeing from the details point of view. I'm trying to convey to you and emphasize the feedback that I've got on the phones. And I know you guys know because you've worked the referrals before. But now that we're knocking the dust off the B2B book, we're getting it into the CRM, and we're coming at things from a more strategic and organized and simplified position, we're hearing a resounding large amount of enthusiasm. So I just want to emphasize that. You know, we're looking at doing 40 accounts off the bat. People who are probably going to be maybe even month to month wanting more and more just because it's a no-brainer. So I just wanted to emphasize that and simultaneously emphasize how important it is right here at the very end to really underline our follow through. This is my baby. Just like, I mean, I know you understand, just like how you did the territory sales book for one of your old bosses or jobs or companies. Just like you did that, I feel sort of the same way. And we're really coming to a close. So I just want to make sure that, like I said, when I'm putting my name on it and I'm representing a company that I really believe in, I just want to emphasize the necessity of proper follow through. Two, I want to go over step-by-step simplicity. So sort of what we're doing, what it's called is it's called growth hacking. I know that sounds like a fancy word or whatever, but if you look up, who first came out with growth hacking, I forget what company they did it for, things just blew up. So you come up with a strategic way to blow things up. Unfortunately, it's a complicated process. And much like how we were taking pictures of dogs behind fences, we're also sort of, with updates, the updates, the sheet here with all the check marks on it, while the updates were smart, they were a little muddled because much like when we used to present our package deals on that green sort of Excel sheet to customers, we kind of forget to look at things through the customer's eyes and sheep-proof things. That's the most important thing. That's a huge sales strategy, is making it easy to purchase, easy to buy. We have to sheep-proof it. So I've sort of reworded things to go step by step. And just bear with me here. I'll try and make it under 15 minutes. It's been a really, really long day. So free lodging day, $25. It's supposed to be step by step. We have to acknowledge that what we're trying to do with this growth hacking is a huge opportunity, but at the same time it is complicated for these quote unquote, and I know it sounds terrible, sheep. You know how easily that this could be messed up. So basically what we've done is we've boiled it down into a step-by-step process that is sort of sheep-proofed. Okay, so it's basically just reworded a tiny bit. Your direction, just reworded. So step 1, first customer calls. And remember, the objective is sheep-proofing. Step 1, first customer calls. Step 2, when they call, mention TAD1 for free lodging. They know that the TAD1 is for the lodging, and there's no confusion about, okay, so do I get the $25 credit when I mention TAD1? No. You just follow the step-by-step sheep-proof process. First customer calls. Step 2, mention TAD1 for free lodging. Step 3, write name and number. Okay, easy to do. I can follow your directions. Step 4, give to a friend for $25 credit. Okay, now it's obvious to me, if it wasn't before, because we're dealing in mass numbers. To a lot of people, this could very easily be messed up if it's not outlined in a very simple step-by-step process. I mention TAD1 for the free lodging, then I write down my name and number, then I give it to a friend for my $25 credit. They put in their name, they put in their number. That way it's not one line for my info and we have people, mixing up and not able to read their stuff. Second customer clearly addresses that the following steps are for the secondary customer. Step 1, receive flyer, which makes it, it sets the precedent that we're talking to you, TAD2. Step 2, call and mention TAD2. Very straightforward. Step 3, mention first customer's info. So they know to mention that the first customer's info. And the first customer is going to already read these directions and they fully understand it. They've already talked to us, so they've obviously asked questions if they have them. So the second customer is very primed and ready. Mention first customer's info. They know what to do. Step 4, get free day of lodging. So they know that when they mention that information that they will get the free day of lodging. And then we bulletproof it by putting the asterisk, ask about our individualized $25 referral cards. That way we don't have people trying to have a bunch of questions up in the air like, oh, why don't I get the $25 referral credit? You know what I mean? I could totally pass this to a friend because we want you to stay organized. Come in, schedule your thing and pick up an individualized, the little postcard $25 referral card. Basically all I'm talking about here is sheep proofing, because when we take something complicated and we throw it at the masses, we want to be able to capitalize on this growth hacking, but it could very easily, if we're too broad or too vague with the details, or we expect people to utilize their intelligence, that at mass, it's very likely that they could, fail to do so, because we're talking about maybe doing 5,000 or upward handouts a quarter, just be off of the way people are sounding on the phones. Let me try and wrap up here. I know this is the second video during the week. Just want to make sure that we emphasize follow through, because this could be something huge, very huge, because just off the way people's inflections on the phone, they're really excited. If they were excited before, people just see it as a no-brainer now. And we want to maintain those connections and keep that excitement. We want to keep things simple. Keep it simple. So that's the effort doing so there. Here's the front. free luxurious pet lodging. There's a lot more going on the front page now, so there's been a little bit of change made, and we'll have to get some proofs out and see what they look like. Um, maybe give me Friday or possibly even through the weekend to figure out how I'm gonna nab this thing without the friggin' safety line. Their software in and of itself is terrible. So just give me some time with that, and give me Friday and the weekend to make sure that everything's tied up. Everything on the CRM is good. Everything's been fleshed out. I've got one more call to make here in the next 20 minutes. The manager doesn't get in till 5, so that's the last one there. Let's make sure this thing is bulletproof, because if we don't come correct this first time through, we just ruined everything that we've worked for. You know what I mean? We're not graphic designers, so we have to do our extra homework and make sure that when we set this thing in there, that people are going to respond as best as we can. You know what I mean? It only takes a little bit more thought power, and it's not overthinking it. We're talking about very likely an explosion in sales. This isn't going to be one of those things where we do it and we don't get anything back out of it. It could be if we don't do the extra thinking and make sure that we, cross our T's and dot our I's. That being said, let me just move on so I don't take up too much time. I would like to do a specific B2B, how did you hear about us? I know that we have, I went ahead and I typed one in there that said, promotional whatever, but I'd like to do one that's specifically for this handout. That way we can measure it. And potentially, we just write it in there as TAD1, and then we make another one with TAD2. Pretty simple for front desk to follow through. They just read it. We don't even have to explain it. They see it. It's very straightforward. They click it. Boom. And we have everything tracked. Because at some point, we are going to look at our analytics there. We got to make sure that, we're seeing everything. I mean, everything is seen from the bird's eye, but we don't want to get lost in the details either. Those numbers help me. For instance, if we hadn't seen those veterinary numbers, I wouldn't have been able to bring that up as a question, and we wouldn't be here now, Q1, month 1, having a major plan of attack with this B2B. So that's important. Talking about quotes. So we're going to get a quote through the weekend, Monday, Friday, this Friday. We're going to get a quote from Vistaprint, and they might have a 30%, they got a 30% deal going on throughout January. I've got several 20% off. And when I called the guy to circumvent yada yada, he put something, he put some kind of discount on there. Maybe it's still there, maybe it's not, and maybe I give him a call back and schmooze him and see if I can get some kind of 40% off, So we're going to gather our quote there. You're going to gather your quote through your guy as soon as I can find like a PDF or jack something that's workable, find a bug in their software and exploit it. That's hacking. That's genuine hacking. So give me some time with that, because their software is full of holes. So maybe it's doable, maybe it's not. I've done it before with like logo companies, so just give me a little time with that, and potentially I can get something with your printer, what they can work with. I'm wrapping up here. And maybe give them a call and see what they can work with. Because they're a printer, they may be A1 at graphic design, and for instance, like if I just screenshot this, it's gonna have this safety line on it. Maybe they have some kind of program where they can eliminate the safety line, and that makes our getting a screenshot for them easier. So maybe call and figure out what they can work with. I'll try and get something super professional, like a PDF. And maybe they can work with, if we made a small order from Vistaprint, potentially they could work with that. Now, I wanted to talk about a third quote. And I know that you already mentioned that you didn't want to do this, but at the same time, there's been several crossroads where I held my tongue and we bit the bullet because of it. So, this has been my baby from the start, and I want to make sure that things are done the best they can be, not just because my name's on it, but because TAD's name is on it. So I can't find it within myself not to bring this up. Um, Talking about a third party designer. And before before you go off and think anything in any negative regard, keep in mind that they have developed, with their business development, they have a connection with a printer in-house. So basically what I'm saying is they do this. They have all of these different professionals under one roof who does the graphic design. And we're not graphic designers. We have to face that. But the bottom line is this doesn't cost us anything to get a quote from them. And their quote may beat out the printer just because of the relationship that they have with their own printer. So we may get a design overhaul that doesn't cost us anything to look at, and they could beat out all three prices with a design that when we look at it, just because we've put so much work into our initial concept already, we don't really have to work with the graphic designer like we did with the van. We essentially send this over and they basically tweak it and tune it up and could potentially do all of that expertise and the printing. And they even have an avenue for delivery. They could potentially get us a quote that is lower than the printer. And there wouldn't be any necessity to circumvent like nabbing a PDF or what have you. But the bottom line is it doesn't cost us anything to get that third opinion. And let me continue on and give you a vote of confidence that I mentioned this guy to you before. When we went to the marketing event with the van at the wellness center, I made an effort. After you had left, I made an effort to meet this guy and have a conversation with that marketing company. They do this. All of their work is very, very great. Sorry, it's been a long day. And their graphic designers went to school, 4 years, college, maybe even more, and they have all of this year's experience, some of them probably with 10, 15 years of experience doing graphic design, and it costs us nothing. And I've already developed a relationship with the owner of this company. I've already called and chatted them up today, and I've basically got them to draw us up something for free. All I got to do is send over the proof, and they'll draw something up based on our proof for free, and they'll get us a quote for the printer. It may not be an avenue that we want to go down, but it would be a terrible idea for us not to at least gather the quote and look at what they can put on the table. It doesn't cost us anything to do so. The last thing I wanted to mention, and hopefully I'm not over my time here, is brand consistency. Let's say that they get us a home run. We don't really have to work with them, and besides, if we have to do a couple phone calls, I'll be the one on the phone. I'm the one that's designed this. But let's say we get them on the phone, this third party. They're called CA. Let's say they get us a home run design that really looks just, really great because this is what they do. And because of their relationship with their printer, they're able to get all of that, the quote, lower than Vistaprint, lower than the printer. And they're able to do a much just all around better job because it's an entire company built for this one process. But the added thing is, let's say we did want to go with them. Well, something else that works for us with them, another bullet point that works for us and doesn't cost us anything to find out about, is brand consistency. So when we want to do more marketing and we want to develop more pieces of marketing material, or potentially even when we're doing our slides for the screens in the lobby, they could potentially draw something up that goes along with our brand consistency in our marketing material. They could potentially draw up things that then the screen makers can go off of. That way, our screens, our B2B lit, and any lit that we have in-house all has like the same thematic message. We're talking about brand consistency. So this is some important stuff. This is a really important video, and I know maybe that it pumps the brakes a little bit or could be a little frustrating. Trust me, I've been flustered all day on the phones doing all of this from scratch, and still I'm just a kid. So I just want to make sure that things are done to the best of my ability and our ability. I want to make sure that this is a win. And if we can get that win, plus the brand consistency, plus, the assistance and the great graphic design, all for a quote that simultaneously beats out the other two quotes, that's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? That's a no-brainer. So I just wanted to go over those things as we're coming to a close on what is actually looking like a tremendous opportunity, a big project. We could potentially be doing this every month as opposed to quarterly until we can work out a big enough, because it looks like these things are going to move. And if we have a beautiful graphic design that is just worked out to the nth degree, just really well thought out and really well put together, that when you set it down on the other person's desk, they say, man, you guys were not kidding. I mean, they will flood the streets with these things. Boarding would no longer be a problem. And I just wanted to make sure that I went, I didn't want to just hold my tongue. I'm here just trying to do the best job that I can. That I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but at the same time, I've been on the phone with these guys. So, if we walk in with a knockout graphic design, this thing will graduate from a home run to the grand slams we're looking for. So, that's it for the presentation. I'm probably slightly over. I apologize, but it's really important. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap up. I'm over time. I'll talk to you soon.